as we think about the state of Iowa, a lot of growers probably do like upfront nitrogen applications blended with chemical. Some growers have the capability to run starter fertilizer, which is a great option. But I think broadly based, we're thinking a lot more about those blanket applications. And is there enough nitrogen and sulfur there to help drive plant growth and development? We have to think about tillage, how much carbon you're trying to break down and get through. Like corn on corn is a different situation, right? We need more nitrogen and sulfur up front in a corn on corn plan. But I really take a look at that grower's total nitrogen program and see what each application is specifically doing to help the plant. What are we doing with that specific application? How are we going to drive plant growth and development? We need to make sure that we have enough nitrogen and sulfur, even in a broadcast application, even also in the starter application. Is there enough nitrogen there and sulfur to help drive plant growth and development like we need to? We think about nitrogen and sulfur and where we're placing it and what type of that season that's going into. So if I'm race to canopy, I'm seeing how fast can I accelerate growth to get that crop off to V6. So we talk about plant mass, but I'm really trying to get that plant out of the ground, get it to canopy. And the thing, when I hit canopy, I shade the ground out. So I think about water limited acres. So acres that are generally dry, where water's running off of, those are the acres that are at risk. And if we're walking into another year that's going to be really dry, that's going to be another risky situation. So I need to get those plants off to the best start by having the best nitrogen rate and sulfur rate in front of that plant growth and development to really put me in the best place to win. Building sucrose. So I want to build a big plant to V6, but I also want to keep that race going. I was thinking about this question. I think about like in a NASCAR analogy. So if in a NASCAR, if I'm in a race and I'm running on a low tank of fuel, when I hit the end of that track and I make working through the last laps and I don't have a lot of fuel to really accelerate, that's a concern. So I think about the same way in a corn plant. If I build a big sucrose reserve, I can withstand stress. I have a huge reserve there because when it gets too hot and too dry, I use sucrose as fuel. Well, that fuel, the more I can make it a larger tank, the better off I'm going to be. You think about this year and this last year in 2023, some plants built a big sucrose reserve if managed accordingly with nitrogen, P and K applications, and sulfur applications. So they had a huge sucrose reserve. Well, that allowed them to really push that extended grain fill and take an opportunity to capitalize on fungicides and late season nitrogen management to really get that punch. And that's where we really saw the accelerated growth and yield development and yield outcome this year was on growers that had a large fuel tank walking into that grain fill period.